All right. And hopefully we're back. Thank you, Sam Baker, for hanging around. Cody Lastney had to split. And we were talking about the draft order. The Panthers, with this, do not look. It's going to be hard for them to creep higher than, what, 7? I mean, are we really going to finish that much? Even if we lose, where do you see us finishing? Or drafting, not finishing, not the. We've argued about wins and losses enough.
I see.
Where are we drafting at? Are we drafting top 5? It doesn't look like it. Top 10, maybe?
No, Tony, I see us winning 2 more games, probably. Just fluking and winning 2 more games and ended up drafting 11th to 14th, just like I said. And that's where we're going to end up. It's where we always happens to us. We always blow it at the end of the year. It's like a couple years ago against the Saints. Saints already won the division. They have the number 1 seed locked up. We're not going to the playoffs. Our draft pick went from like the 8th pick to the 17th pick because we beat the Saints in the last game of the season. Why? We do stupid stuff like that. We'll draft 11th to 14th.
Okay.
So.
I forgot what call we were on. Let me see. Have we heard this call?
What's up, C3? It's Run DMC Lovato again. Call number 2.
Oh, hold on. Well, then let's go find call number 1.
Brandon, don't know if y'all ever took me. If not, first time caller. If not, second time caller.
What's up, Brandon?
Big fans. I've been listening for a number of years.
Thank you.
And
through all our technical difficulties.
As of right now, so I've definitely been on the anti-Teddy Bridgewater, which, y'all have been talking about that a ton. But I just kind of want to say that, in my opinion, I honestly believe that, for one, it's not all the offensive line's fault. I think that they're decent. But I also think that a lot of the sacks and problems are caused by Teddy himself. I think we have a very dynamic wide receiver group. And in my personal opinion, I think we are literally a quarterback and a possibly 1 or 2 offensive linemen away from being, and maybe a tight end, away from being that offensive line being really good. And on defense, it's simple. We need some more cornerbacks. We need another outside rusher, and we need some more linebackers. But, it's like this. People need to understand that this is going to take a while. It's going to take years. We're probably not going to be good next year either. And even if we do by chance, and it kind of stinks that, now with those 3 wins, we probably have, and if we get even a couple, even one more, we probably just screwed ourselves out of getting a quarterback. And who knows what's going to happen, because if not, we're either going to have to be stuck with Bridgewater, or we're going to have to trade up a ton of capital next year to get a quarterback. And I don't know who's available next year. 2022. Anyway, this was a frustrating loss, even though I will say that at this point I just don't care. If we lose, we lose. Fine. If we win, whatever. Anyway, keep doing what y'all are doing. We'll keep listening. Y'all are really fun to listen to. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Brandon, for the call. I think, in some ways that maybe we're not as far away as you think, is that you're right. We might not be great next year, but we could be trending the right way. You add a free agent or 2. The offensive line, I don't know. You're right. I don't know. Do you fix it through free agency or the draft? I guess is the question. If you fix it through the draft, it's going to take more time than not. You know what I mean? That's the thing, is even if you get the best fucking left tackle in the damn draft, they never play great their first year, or rarely, should I say. It's going to take a little time.
That's my issue. Is would you rather invest into a proven free agent offensive lineman, or spend a top 10 pick on an offensive lineman rookie that you don't know what's going to happen? With our luck with offensive linemen,
I guess it's just where you allocate your money, right?
Yeah.
252-228-5098.
Hey, what's up, It's Run DMC Lovato. I got a question for you guys addressing our holes on the team. I want one of y'all to talk about what you think in order is our biggest needs and biggest holes, and 1 through 5, what's our biggest holes, cornerback, linebacker, offensive tackle, guard, defensive line, whatever it could be, in order, and talk about if you want to address those positions in free agency or address those positions in the draft.
The hardest question.
That's all I got, man.
Okay. I think this is that our top needs. It depends on just what you think is with Teddy, right? Is that if you think that we can kind of build temporarily around Teddy, which probably is the case, and we can't get a free agent, a top 6. We got to be in the top 5, it looks like, to get the quarterback that we really, really love. Top 6, somewhere like that. So I don't think quarterbacks are number one. I think it comes to left tackle, corner, linebacker, defensive end, and just anybody on the offensive line, guard or center too. And I think you have to look at it this way, is that you draft the most expensive positions in free agency and you buy the cheaper positions in free agency. A center is cheaper than a left tackle. A linebacker is cheaper than a corner, right? The top linebacker gets less money than the top corner. The top center gets less money than the top left tackle. And the same on defensive end. Defensive end, they're expensive in free agency. So I think you got to draft. You got to prioritize those expensive positions. Left tackle, corner, defensive end. And then I say you go guard, center, guard. You can get a center in like the 3rd round or something like that. And those guys will turn out to be good in a year or two. They will. They just aren't sexy positions enough. I think you go free agency, linebacker. I think you go free agency, guard. And really probably most of our free agency money is probably going to be spent on Taylor Moton. So that's my opinion. All right, let's keep pounding.
Hey, this is
and it's just us two now. Everybody dropped out.
If not first time caller, if not second time caller. Big fans. I've been listening for a number of years, and
we heard this one again. All right, next call.
Oh yeah, man. This is Jay Anderson calling out again. Did y'all see that thing about Matt Rule talking about number 52? He played well.
Oh man, I hope he did not.
Yo,
say
man,
that.
Matt Rule tripping, man. I know he's taking for his boy. Matt Rule need to. 52 got to go. 52 just got to go.
It's true.
And I know everybody.
And he will.
He
will. Don't worry.
You can't expect him to beat Luke Kuechly. I'm not trying to. Luke is on another level. Nobody was looking for another Luke Kuechly. They're just looking for a solid.
Yep.
Mike. Just looking for a solid Mike. Somebody that's going to do well. Somebody going to do well in that position. Not looking for another Luke Kuechly or nothing like that. This a solid piece. Hell, AJ Klein wasn't a Luke Kuechly. He was a solid piece.
True. But he also didn't play very much.
Really hope for the draft and they get rid of him. Hopefully Matt Rule come to his sister, come through his mind and get rid of his boy. And do not select any Temple players or Baylor players.
You know he's going to. You know he's going to select Temple and Baylor players. He already has a track history of doing it.
What's up, C3?
Come on.
Yep. All right, keep going.
C. Lovato again, call number 2. I got a question for you guys. Let's say we're in the draft, okay? We'll pick number 10.
We need Cody.
We have Zach Wilson and Trey Lance there.
I'm tabling this one for next week. Week. You want it?
My answer already, but
all right.
I don't know enough about it, but I know
that's what I'm saying. That's how I feel. Is like I'm gonna table that one for next week.
All right.
Don't worry,
Run DMC Lovato, call number 3.
Oh, call number 3.
I have a little discussion about Marty Hurney.
All right. Good.
Marty's not gonna like to hear this, but listen, I think we can come to a place where I think we all agree on. Okay. Marty Hurney doesn't deserve to keep his job, right? And I'm not saying he's horrible. I think he's probably average, right? And you want to be better than average. You don't want to consistently just accept average. So we need to get a better general manager, right? But there's always that other side of getting another Dave Gettleman that I'm terrified about. Someone that doesn't have the same views as Matt Rule. And say we do kick out Marty Herney, Matt Rule's is he gonna be the one to pick a GM? Like, who's gonna be the GM? So, and I think I'm just more terrified
good point.
of up on the GM. Even worse, there's way worse than Marty Herney out there, Cody. I know you don't want to see that, but
we're gonna bring this back up to him. I'm gonna bring this call back next week too.
So, yeah. But I know what Cody's gonna say. He's gonna say, well, just because you're afraid doesn't mean you still don't take a trigger. Like we did on Ron Rivera. Like, we did a way worse coach, but we still went ahead and got rid of him because he wasn't good enough. And that's what Cody's going to say. He's not good enough, so why is he still here?
You might have to have Rule pick him then.
I'm different on the GM. I agreed with the Ron Rivera thing. He wasn't good enough.
This is a great call. Great call.
And it's paid off. But I don't think a GM is as easy as a coach. I'm kind of scared to get rid of Marty myself. But what do you guys think? Like, are you more afraid? The reason why you don't want to get rid of Marty is because you're more afraid of messing up and getting another Dave Gettleman, or because you really do like Marty Herney? What are your thoughts on that guy?
I have been consistent in this. Is I did not like the way they approached. I thought that I liked the idea of bringing in a GM and a coach together. And they live and die together, right? The GM picks the coach with the owner, right? So, like, they get together, they go in and eat meatballs at Matt Rule's house, like it happens with us, right? It did happen that way, is like the owner and the GM pick the coach. But what I want to do is you bring in the new GM, you bring in the new coach, and it just says this, is that, like, if this doesn't work, you don't get to fire the coach and pick the next coach. You already fucked up. You pick this coach. So you live together, you die together. I think that Tyler brings up a fantastic point, and that is that if you bring in a GM and they butt heads with Matt Rule, and say it goes like this. Say they differ over a draft pick. And then we don't do that well. And that draft pick gets hurt. And then you get this kind of fighting back in this, like, this division inside between the GM. The GM is saying, well, I told you should have picked my guy. Or the head coach is saying you should pick my guy. And you're forcing this on this and that and this and that on me. That's the good part about Marty Herney, is he's kind of like a chameleon. He can work with anybody. He can work with Jerry Richardson. He can work with David Tepper. He can work with Matt Rule. That's a very good benefit to him. I think if you do pick a GM, Greg, I think what you got to do is I think that Tepper and Rule got to pick them together. And it ultimately makes Rule ahead of the GM.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%, Tony. I think that whenever you bring in a new tenure like that, you should have a coach and a GM should be, kind of hired together, kind of at the hip, like a president, vice president type deal. I think the fact that they got rid of Cam, they got rid of, Greg Olson, they did change the whole identity of this team, got rid of everybody, the head coach, offensive coordinators, everything, and they didn't get rid of the GM, makes me think they're not getting rid of him. Why would you wipe a clean slate with everybody but him if you're not planning on keeping him?
I think Herney's kind of I like Herney in this. Is like, I don't dislike him as much as most people do.
And I don't either. Yeah.
I kind of feel like Herney has accepted his role. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm not the big dick GM. It's like, and you brought this up earlier in the show, and I think you're right on the money. It's like, it's almost like Rule's saying that we acknowledge this. We gave Rule an 8-year contract. Mm-hmm. Right, you ain't going nowhere, homie. And if you do go anywhere, you're getting paid like a motherfucker, and you're going to get a job afterwards. Don't worry. If we part ways with you, we are going to be the ones paying the child support, the alimony.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I feel like Rule is saying this, is that, like, I think Marty Herney's saying this, is that we know that this is the Rule show, and rules are the rules, And you just tell me what you need, brother. I'll get it done. I feel like he is, and that is maybe the type of GM you kind of need at this point. Or you need another guy very similar to that who is going to take his marching orders and fall lockstep.
Yeah. You need a yes man who's not afraid of taking the blame, which we know, obviously, that's what Hurney seems like he is. And two, going back to replacing the GM, like Cody's been kind of preaching for, what's the future if you get rid of him? Like, if you have somebody in place, if you have an idea of somebody you want, then okay, I can hear that argument. But I haven't heard any kind of rumors about anybody that could replace him. And like we said, if anything, he's average. He's not terrible. So why take the chance to get rid of somebody who's to get rid of somebody who's at least average when you're a below average team? I guarantee you, if he drafts next year and he hits the first 3 rounds drafts next year, everybody's going to be on the side of that and be like, "Oh, we got to keep Hurney. Look what he built for us," type deal. It's going to change, but. I think I'm like you. People forget some of the things he's given the team. He has had some bad ones too, but all GMs do. And I just don't see, unless you have something out there, somebody that wants to come here that is a better option, what's the point in getting rid of him right now?
It seems like he's willing to work with, and Rule seems enthusiastic. Maybe, and who knows? We'll find out. We'll find out after this year. And then again, the question comes down to, when do you bring in the new GM?
Right.
Do you bring him in now? Like, if we start to fall apart and David Tepper is upset, does he say, "All right, you're done. Time to bring in the new scouting staff, this and that"? I don't really get that feeling right now.
No. Why would he give Hurney one more chance, but nobody else on the team? Why did he get rid of everybody else to keep Hurney if he wasn't planning on keeping him for good?
And
Tepper just likes Hurney as a guy. That could be a part of it.
He's always well loved, man. That's what the people hate about him, is that like people like Hurney. And that's Tim Tizzy's right. He doesn't even make the decisions. I think that's why. He's like a patsy. He's kind of like a limp dick GM right now, in a good way. Is that he's like a cuck. He is Matt Rule's cuck GM. All right, and you know what? I like Marty Hurney. I do. I think he gets too much trash. I think he's done a lot of good things. And I continue to say that those contract years are what really has been the shit on him. I mean, has he been sensational? I don't know. We've had two. We have made the Super Bowl twice in our short tenure. We have been a very competitive team. He's doing better than the Hornets are.
That's not saying much.
All right, last call. Right. Last call.
What's up, guys? It's Cody. No, I'm just trying to fuck with y'all. It's Zach again. But for real, man, I love this team, and I just want to see them get better. Appreciate what you guys do. Keep it up.
Thanks, Zach, man.
Great last to end on right there. Positive note. Nothing but I like that.
All right. Look, it's the C3 Panthers podcast. Ran into our first technical difficulties in a while, man. We've been running kind of smooth for a minute, and I think it was me fucking around because I got like I do believe, and I don't like to. I think you can overpower ADHD with your mind. Like, I think that some of it is too, like, I mean, I know that some people have the straight chemical, but I do have a little bit of it. And I've been, like, playing with this thing right here the whole time on the podcast.
The whole time that
Yeah, and I think it hit my space bar, and I think that's what, I don't know. I have all these theories about why it froze up. Who knows? I probably need all new computers. That is actually the true case. There again. All right, let's get rid of this podcast. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Thanks for the calls. The number's 252-228-5098. I guess it's time to ice some people up. I don't have any good ice up picks. I could say YouTube right now because our podcast went down. Do you have any ice up picks in your world of podcasting? I know you are all over the map.
Yeah, I do. I have two. One kind of off the wall,
I like
and
it.
One for a fan. Should I give which one? You want a fan?
Bring them both. Bring them both. Let's see.
All right. So my one's kind of off the wall. I heard a story today about a guy who broke out of prison in 1971. That's been out for 49 years and just
Hell
got
yeah.
caught because, he changed his identity and everything, man. Totally got away with, escaping from prison. 49 years he's been out working for CVS as a as a travel pharmacist.
Hell yeah.
He got caught stealing pills.
Oh,
And his fingerprints. They said they caught him, and
I'm rooting for this guy too.
Yeah. So, dude, for him, man, ice up for real. And for my fan one, I got to go back to Sunday's post game show, and Brother Herbert, man, in the chat room.
Oh, this is a good one.
Man.
Please,
I got to ice you up, dude, because you were debating with me the whole show about how none of this was on Teddy Bridgewater. The entire reason we lost was just the defense, that it wasn't Teddy Bridgewater at all. And while I don't disagree with you that it was the defense, you can't say it wasn't Teddy Bridgewater. 1 for 8 on third downs, 20 yards of offense in the entire second half. Okay? And you tried to make the argument with me that 17 points is plenty enough points for a team to win if you have a great defense. So you know what I did? I spent my lunch break today going back and
thank you. Please, tell me all the teams that have held people to 17 points.
Yes, here you go. So last year, all of 2019 seasons for 2 reasons. 1, because it's a full season of stats, and 2, because there was no COVID. So I don't want anybody talking about COVID this, no training camp that. So 1 full season, to give us an example, 256 games, 27 games of 256 were won by 17 points or less. And I'm giving you the field. 17 or anything under that. When a team only got to 17 points, 27 out of 256 games, 10.5%. So, Brother Herbert, if you want to take that and use that as your narrative for what a team needs, you can have your 1.8 wins a year with that stat, okay? Because if you don't have an offense that can score the ball either, you're not going to win. I'm not blaming it all on Teddy, but 20 yards of offense in the second half is also a big reason, especially when you go into a game where it's 17-17 at halftime. It's a tie ball game. You're basically starting
0-0 and 0-0 then.
0 at halftime. So you're basically starting fresh right there, and you got blown the fuck out. So you can say he had a great first half, and he did, if you consider 12 passes for 100 yards a great first half. But, I mean, still, you got to have offense with the defense. 17 points is not going to be enough to win. And just so you know, the top 10 defense, top 5 defenses last year in 2019, so I pulled stats from there. Pat's 14.4 yards a game. Buffalo 16.5. Baltimore 18.2. Chicago 18.6. Pittsburgh 18.9. So even the top 3 of the top 5 defenses didn't hold teams to 17 points a game last year. So you want a top 1 or 2 defense? Is that what we need to make Teddy Bridgewater look good? Is a top 1 or 2 defense? Because I don't have faith in that kind of quarterback. So, Herbert, ice up, buddy.
Ice up. And here is the thing: is I'm okay with you saying that he can win with a better defense, right?
Yeah,
like I'm okay with that. But when you say 17 points, you're talking about some of the best defenses in the history of football. The Carolina Panthers 2013 defense gave up 15.7 points or something per game, and they were on pace to be the best defense since the 85 Chicago Bears. And they finished second in the league that year because Seattle gave up like 15.2 points per game. But those are transcendent defenses. You know, so when you keep a team, if you keep a team under 20, if you average under 21, I kind of feel like you're a good defense in this day and age. Maybe even 23 in a way. And so our defense has, I just feel like 17. But shit, is that Trent Dilfer can win with a 17. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like anybody can win with a defense that only allows 17 points. Mm-hmm. Right? I wonder if the Bears are even allowing 17 points this season. I'm going to ice myself up today. My ice up pick goes to myself because I had a great question that I wanted to ask on the show. And I got distracted by everything, by the show, the calls, and our continued banter. But I wanted to ask this, and I thought it was going to be a controversial question. And that is, as we prepare for the Lions, which this show was supposed to be about, It's called preparing for the Lions, and we have not talked about the
that.
Lions.
We didn't
I don't
discuss
even think
anything
we
about
mentioned the Lions even once.
Although
Maybe
I do think it's a win this weekend. But
really.
I do. I think
Okay,
they'll pull it
so
out.
this was my controversial question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think do you think in a, like, if you were given like a written essay, like an essay prompt or something like on a test, and the question was, should the Panthers win this weekend? Should, not can they win, but should they win? Is there any world where the stronger argument is really towards yes?
I honestly would have to look more at Detroit. I don't know their stats. I don't even know what the record is.
They are so we're 3-7. They are 4-5.
So they're not much better.
No.
They're biased. And then the only reason that I think we're going to win is because I have absolutely no faith in the Lions whatsoever. The Lions are the Panthers for the last few years have been mediocre and just middling team for the last 10, 11 years. We had a couple good seasons. The Lions are always that team or worse. They're never better. It's always middle of the pack or worse than the league. And I just have no faith in the Lions. I think any team can beat the Lions any Sunday. It just, I don't know.
10 Tizzy is with me. 10 Tizzy, we should not win. And the reason I thought this was going to be a controversial question and why I wanted to ask it early in the podcast, and I was about to ask it, and then we got into this other good conversation, was, and I mentioned it a little bit, I was telling Cody, my fan bias always wants me to say that I'm going to pick I think the Panthers can win. I don't want to pick against them. Like right now, look, we're 3-7, they're 4-5. I'm going to pick the Panthers, blah, 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 But I understand there's a fan bias, A. B, for me, is that I always get the kind of that underlying subconscious fear of being a fan that saying there's a difference between should and can. Right, and I do think on any given Sunday, and arguably this Panthers team comes out and plays hard sometimes and looks pretty damn good. And we've played some really, and we've played up to competition while it always seems like the Detroit Lions kind of regress to the mean. Like they play down to their competition. So they play a shitty team, they play shitty. They play a good team, they play shitty. We play a good team, we play well, but we lose. We play a shitty team, we play better. My thing is I think they are better. They're a better talented team. Okay. Right. So I think we can win, and I think we likely might win because of all those kind of things you said about them. But look, they got a quarterback that is better than quarterback to quarterback, Stafford. I'm ready to take Stafford. If I had my pick of the litter, I would take Stafford over Teddy.
I would take Stafford over Teddy.
Right? Is that we've been shitting on our offensive line. I don't know exactly what their offensive line looks like, but if it's worse than ours, okay, then we'll start to have a conversation. But they got some horses on defense. They have a good wide receiver core, Marvin Jones, Galladay, DeAndre Swift. They have talent. They're not an untalented team. I think sometimes we're kind of rosy-eyed a little bit when it comes to rose-colored glasses when it comes to the Panthers. I think we can win. I just wonder if there's an argument if we should win. And at the end of the day, and that's why I'm icing myself up for not asking that question early in the podcast when people were listening and while we had everybody. But anyway, C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Thanks for tuning in to part 2, stream 2. Thanks for my homies, 10 Tizzy, Blake Bettis, Trill 1, Z Beer D every day. That's a tough one. Joseph Broach. Thank y'all, Run DMC Lovato, for checking out our second stream and our first stream and being with us to the end. We value your time. At cat_chronicles. Greg, where can they find Man of Many Podcast taking a night off to go bounce wow tomorrow on his night off? You better.
Oh, yeah.
You better get some wine. You better get the Boone's Farm out or whatever you guys do.
Oh yeah, my wife's definitely got the plans. We got we just refinanced our house when we got our refund check for our escrow today.
Yeah,
we're definitely
you're gonna party it
definitely do
up.
something. But yeah, you can find me at the Bad Daddy 52 on Twitter. Check me out there. You can find everything I'm on Geek Ultimate Alliance Network, and you can check out all my shows.
All right, guys. And don't worry, Blake Bettis. I'm gonna play the intro next week, so CK can hear it, and I'll send it to him too. Don't worry. We're out of here, guys. We gotta get the hell out of here. My wife's gonna kill me. We'll see you next week.